office of the Always Believe House. Oh, today you're going to learn how to transform a quadratic. How to move the quadratic left, right, up, down, and make it vertically compressed or vertically stretched, okay? We're going to learn all that today. So a magical whiteboard appears, and let's start graphing parabolas. Okay, so at the very top of your paper, write down f of x equals a parentheses, and then put a b in here, x minus h squared plus k. Now then, let's start over here. The h and the k are the vertex, right? This moves it left or right. This moves it up or down. If a negative is right here, that will reflect across the x-axis, right? And then the A and the B are going to horizontally or vertically stretch. Stretch or compress, right? If it's greater than 1, it's going to stretch it like 2, 3, 4. If it's less than 1 or a fraction like 1/2, 0.25, 1/3, it's going to flatten it, okay, or compress it. Vertical stretch or vertical compress. So remember all of those units right here. Now then, on this problem right here, I have these written down for you, don't I? This is already on the worksheet. So really quickly, the 6 is going to go in this spot. That's the K in it. So that's going to translate what? Translate up 6 units. Okay, so the number right here, that constant spot at the end, translates up or down. If this were inside the parentheses, it would go left or right, wouldn't it? Remember, numbers in front of there are going to vertically stretch or vertically compress it. You just got to know what numbers and what you got to memorize this. Really no math involved in this. Right here, the C is -4, so we would put it in here, we would have this, wouldn't we? So the -4 is going to translate this. If we were to come out and left 4 units, right? If you put it in the equation, it's going to be a +4, right? When you pull it out, it will be a -4. Let's go to the next one. Okay, on this one right here, the A is -2. So we're going to put the -2 here. Okay, so the negative would reflect it across the x-axis. Let me write down reflect, right? And the 2 would be a vertical stretch. Piece of cake. Okay, right here we're plugging 0.8. 0.8 is less than 1 in it. That's going to vertically compress it, right? And it goes right in here. So this will be a vertical compress. Okay, notice, did we do any math on this? We did not do any math. You just need to know which parts change which. Okay, one more time. Let's write down f of x equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. Remember, a number here or here is going to vertically stretch or compress it. If the a is negative and outside the parentheses, you're going to reflect. And this is left or right, this is up or down, okay? That's all you need to know, really. So what I would do is write down f of x equals x squared, and then put the other one below it. G of x equals -4x squared. Now then, this is kind of tricky because it has a negative, but the negative is on the inside of the parentheses. It's not on the outside. Okay? Now then, if I did x squared is going to have these ordered pairs. That's going to be x squared, okay? X squared is always going to have this table. XY, -2, 4, -1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 4. Okay, always, always, always. Let's graph -4x squared so you can see the difference. So I'm going to hit the tab. I got my f of x in there. Then I'm going to hit parentheses. Hit tab again. Parentheses, -4, close parentheses, squared. Hit enter. Notice the graph. Oh, did it graph it? Let me hit delete, delete, delete. Hit enter, hit tab, parentheses, negative 4x, close parentheses squared, hit enter. Okay, I have my graph, and notice how narrow it is. That negative 4 vertically stretched it also. Since the negative is not outside of the parentheses, it did not flip it, did it? That negative 4 would be in. Negative 4 times negative 4 is a positive 16, didn't it? So it really made it narrow, didn't it? Okay, if we hit Control T, you can see that the graph 1 would be 16, would it? Okay, so these numbers were made bigger by a whole bunch, aren't they? They were vertically, they were multiplied by 16. So I multiplied my y's by 16 on this graph, and it vertically stretched it. So my new graph would be really steep, and it would be like this, would it? Okay, so what you would write down, identify the transformation as a stretch, a compression, a reflection. That's all you have to write down. So this right here would be a vertical stretch, wouldn't it? That's all we need to do, okay? Don't make this harder than what it is. I'm going to do the top two. You can do the bottom two. Okay, now then on this one, I would write down the equation on top of each other. So 1/2 parentheses x minus 1 squared. Then write down g of x equals 1/2 parentheses x minus 1 squared plus 3. What's the difference in these? The difference is that plus 3 in it. That is the constant term, right? The constant term moves it up or down. The 1/2 didn't change and the minus 1 didn't change. So this right here would be a translate up, wouldn't it? Now then, let's graph these. This one would have a vertex of 1, 0. So 1, 0. This one would have a vertex of 1, 3. So this parabola would look like this. This parabola would look like this. So we just translated the parabola up. Now then, let's graph both of these real quick so you can see this. So I'm going to hit Control T to get rid of the table. Then I'm going to hit delete, delete, delete. Hit enter. Now then, I'm going to graph two graphs on this. So hit tab, okay, and it's 1/2 parentheses x minus 1 squared. So I'm going to use 0.5 for this. 0.5 parentheses x minus 1 squared, close parentheses squared. Remember, my vertex should be positive 1, 0. And it's going to be a little flatter than the original, or than the parent function. So hit enter. Notice I have this, don't I? Now then, I'm going to graph the next equation. It should match up, but it should just be shifted up. So I'm going to hit tab again. Notice when I hit tab, I have f2x. That means I'm going to graph a second equation. So my equation would still be the same. It's going to be 0.5 parentheses x minus 1 squared, close parentheses squared, and then I'm going to add plus 3. That plus 3 is just going to slide the graph up. So if I hit enter, basically they're not parallel, but they're going to be the same graph, just one shifted up 3. And if I graph it, I got my second graph. Notice it was shifted up 3, wouldn't it? So this graph was translated up 3 units. That's what you're trying to figure out here. That's what we have, translate up 3 units, right? Piece of cake, right? So you can graph these and visually see what's happening on the calculator, okay? You've just got to remember this right here and how each number does it. The first two numbers vertically stretch or compress. This number's left or right, and this number's up or down. Turn the page. I'm going to let you do 7 and 8 on your own. Okay, this right here is pretty simple. Notice all of the vertexes are different, right? This has a vertex. This is the vertex. This is the vertex. Write the vertex of each one down here and see if you can match it up. I'm going to let you do that on your own, okay? Remember, it's f of x equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. If there's no k, it's 0. If there's no h, it's 0. So for instance, on this one right here, there's no parentheses, right? This would have a vertex of 0, 3. Okay? Let you do that again on your own. Okay, let's go to here. This one right here, we're just going to graph these. First thing you're going to do is write down the vertex, and I'm going to let you do these two. So I'm just going to do the vertexes for you so you can do the top one. Right here, my vertex, the opposite of minus 4 is 4. There's no constant, is there? So it's 0. So this vertex will be at right 4 up 0, right here it is. The 1/4 is going to make it flatter. You'll see that when you graph it. The next one, my vertex, the opposite of plus 2 is a minus 2, and then negative 4. So my vertex will be right here, and it's going to be a standard curve, okay? And I'm going to be really cool with you. I'm going to show what happens here. On a standard curve, you would go right 1, up 1. Then you would go right 2, up 4. So right 1, up 1, right 2. I bet those dots are going to be in your graph. Graph it and watch how that works, okay? That's what the standard, that's what the parent function does. And on the last one, my vertex, the opposite of a minus 1 is a 1, and then a 2 is a 2. So my vertex is going to be at 1, 2. This parabola will open down and it will be steeper on it. So the graph will open down and be steeper than the one on the left, okay? You'll visually see that when you do this. That should start clicking. It is critical that you know what these do, okay? This is left or right. This is up or down. And this is a stretch or compress it. If it's negative, it flips it, right? Okay, now then, let's write these two down. So we have f of x equals 5x squared, and then g of x equals negative 5, parentheses, x minus 9 squared plus 12. See if you can figure out what he did wrong on that, and I will let you do that on your own. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Have fun doing this. It's kind of cool. You can visually see how that vertex form switches the graphs up, okay? Have a wonderful day. Remember, you are amazing. You are created to do wonderful things, and you are awesome.